Well, the weatherman and I kind of agree. 22 degrees today, but that's where it kind of finishes, to be honest. He says high cloud, but earlier on this morning it was bucketing down, so I disagreed with them then. And now I've revoked the chance to be able to say I'm revising my temperature scale. I kind of think it's going to get to 24 plus, to be honest. I know Barbara is choosing 23 to 25, so, well, you never know. I think we got it covered, 22 to 25. You never know. It is Tuesday, December the 1st too, by the way, and for those of you that are joining us this morning, thank you for joining us live on Facebook Live. Pinch and a punch for the first of the month from us here in New Zealand. You'll get that tomorrow for those of you, you know, that are a little bit behind time. But so glad to have you with us. And if you're going to watch it a little later on YouTube, don't forget, sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. You know what I'm talking about, right? You do. Anyway, joined live. Now, I tell you what, let's do this.
Galaxy 107fm.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and I'm absolutely elated, and believe me, I'm joined by what I would term as a multi-level superstar coming out of India, and believe me, this is really, really cool, because we haven't actually spoken to anybody live out of India in the recent times. We have gone to Africa just a wee while ago, but not to India, and it is rather remiss of us to miss such a place out. So Bangalore, India, we're joined by Lazie J from the, well, we're actually joined by Jay himself. We've got to find out, is he lazy? I don't think he is. You never know. You're right here at Galaxy. Here's Lazie J. Don't turn around. How you feeling, Jay? You okay?
Oh, fine.
You know, I can't compete right now. I see you've been in 100 countries. We've only been in 64
good morning,
right
dear,
now.
And good morning, York.
I've been into many radios, like some of the shows have gone across 100 countries. So
Stunning.
that's how.
Stunning. I want to find out all of these countries. You know, I thought we were pretty fresh in 64. You know what I mean?
Most of the country, I don't even know the names because, those are like all the Eastern European countries, quite a lot of them, and then I think some of them are in South America. It's like, it's a whole spread.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And believe me,
radios like yours, takes us there.
Believe me,
It's not that we literally go there. It's like, I've been very, very lucky to have friends in the radio circle, like, and that's has helped us quickly.
Believe me, bro, I'm very, very impressed. Not only with your band and with your music, I'm also impressed with the magazine. I've got to be honest with you. And I want to talk about that first. Let's get that out of the way so that we can concentrate on Lazie J the band. Because I've got to be honest with you, being an engineer now for almost 40 years, not letting too much out of the bag, not only studio but front of house as well. I've toured around the world with some very big name bands over the years, and I like your music. I really, I don't listen to music as a fan would listen to it. I listen to it as an engineer or a DJ, how I'm going to sell it on the radio, all that sort of stuff, and I can't fault it. I love the work. I really do. Well done.
Thank you. It's a, I'm pretty happy that you like it, because in India we come out of a place where rock music was not appreciated till very recent, like times.
Okay.
Because we had our own music. We have our own huge music, which is either Bollywood, which is the film music, or we had our traditional classical, Indian classical music, which is called Carnatic music. And that's very deep. Like, it has been there for 5,000 years, or, you can't beat that structure. So, we had a very, very small population who were interested in this rock music, and it was never possible to make a career out of it.
Okay.
So, we have struggled all the way from 91 when we started the band till maybe around 2015 or 2014, where we got into the internet and exposed ourselves into this thing, and that's when we really started getting appreciated for our work.
Nice. Well,
So-
Jay, I got to catch you off there. I'm sorry, bro, because let's go live.
Hi, Crystal.
Now, I did say this is a superstar on multi-levels. Now, let me tell you something. Not only does he play and create great music, singer-songwriter, entertainer, band member, but also owner, editor of the Lazie J Indie magazine, and I'm absolutely loving this. Not because that we appeared in it, but because of what it is and what its function is. And there is so much information in there that tells the world about other artists around the world. Now, we do a lot of interviews with bands, future superstars, each and every one of them, literally, and break this to the world. But we don't put it in a format like the Lazie J Indie magazine. And this is fantastic. You've got to go and check it out. You really do, because it is such an expertly done magazine. It just turned out beautifully. It really is. And let me introduce you not only to the vocalist, lead singer of the band Lazie J, but also the owner and the editor of the magazine, Jay. Is it Pillai? Did I get that right?
Yeah, of course. Perfect.
Nice. Well, thank you, my friend. Was kind of struggling with that one. I wasn't quite sure, but I wanted to make sure that we got the relevant information. Now, let's talk about the magazine first, because I really am here to talk about your band and your music and your aspirations, where you're going to go with this, believe me, because I think you've got a future there. But I am so impressed with your magazine and the function that it does, the platform that you've given people a chance to be able to be read about, be informed on what's coming up in the future in your world. That really impresses me. So let's go down this road. Why did you call it the Lazie J Indie magazine?
Yeah, it's called the Lazie Indie magazine. It's because we are Lazie J. My band is Lazie J. So the first thing is I wanted to have the band name in most of the things we do. We started a band called the Autumn Leaf in '91. So we, in the process, we conducted quite a lot of shows. Like, we were always a supporter to promote independent music. So we had conducted a lot of shows, radio shows, small time gigs, all these things we were doing under the name of Autumn Leaf Radio. So when we started Lazie J was an offshoot of Autumn Leaf. And then we moved that name to Lazie J. That's a basic thing. So we put it as Lazie Indie Magazine. So whatever we do, that's our identity of being Lazie J. And then what we want to do with the support independent music. So that's the idea of why Lazie Indie Magazine came into being. The other thing is, why Lazie J? A lot of people have asked me, why did I name a band as Lazie J? It's very simple. A lot of people told that we had a lot of potential, and we were bloody lazy to make it big. But unfortunately, that's the feedback a lot of people have given us. But To be frank, that's not the truth. The truth is that we tried, and it took a long time for us to come out of the Bollywood based music in India to make our name outside, like to get ourselves outside, heard outside, and use the internet and all those things. So in India, we still are dominated by the big music labels here. So people used to call me lazy. They used to brand us as, this is the laziest band you can see, because those are our friends who really wanted us to do well.
You know,
So I thought that's a good thing.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it clicked.
Yep, absolutely, Jay. And you know something, I think you're far from lazy myself, very, very honest with you. But I understand trying to make a niche market for yourself, swimming against the tide. And believe me, I understand that like crazy. You know what we do here is not the conformative radio kind of deal, if you know what I mean. We don't put in adverts while we're talking to our artists. I think that distracts the audience away from what we're trying to achieve and get everybody to know more about the artists themselves and their music. But at the same time, I've got to ask you, with starting the magazine, was it hard to find people to interview? Was it hard to be able to get people to promote? And how do you do it now? Do they come to you?
Yeah, both ways. Like, when I started the magazine because I had a lot of friends. I had already networked, and my songs were running on radios. I had a few radios which were my friends. I had so many artists who used to appreciate my music, and I went and heard them, and they were great. So that was the idea behind the magazine. I just wanted to take these artists and show it to my friends in India that these are great artists which you have never heard, because they are independent musicians and they're not supported or promoted by big labels, because we get to hear only the biggest names. So that is where I had a big network, like maybe around 500, 600 people whom I used to communicate, because I was there I actively ventured into Reverb Nation and Mixposure and those kind of places to just get our songs heard, like put out our songs, and we started speaking to a lot of people. So I wanted to get the best out of them and put them to our people. And in fact, the magazine did not start as a magazine. We started as a YouTube spotlight series, and we did a couple of them, and then that's when I thought, like, the people who have come to our magazine, like the spotlight series, I wanted to give them a good souvenir of being there with us. So that's when I designed the magazine. I thought, okay, that'll help, because YouTube, after all, it's a video, it will be there, but when it comes on print, maybe because I'm an old timer, I feel like there's a prestige factor which is attached to the print, and that's when I put it on the print, the format, and then I started liking it, because I wanted to be there in that magazine. That's the first thing I was looking at, whether I would like to be there. And I in fact, after the first edition, we have not had a single edition without me being forced to say that to the artists that I will consider you the next time, because there has been a lot of people coming to us, speaking to us, and there's a small difference in many other magazines versus ours, because what we do is we don't choose maybe 50 artists or 30 artists in one magazine and give them half a page each. What we do is we choose 11 or 12 of them and we give them detailed presentation, because that is what somebody wants to achieve out of being in a magazine. Being privileged and being, the photos should look good, give them that feeling. And that, I think that's what we wanted to make every independent musician who come to our magazine feel privileged and feel proud about what he has done. See, that is something which I would pay, or I would do anything to be there. And I'm pretty happy. A lot of people are very happy about being featured in this. We never expected. I never thought of anything when I started. This was not a revenue or a business for me. This was basically my passion to do something and what I wanted to be. That's something which what I had put in.
Well, I got to congratulate you. Believe me, a lot of thought, a lot of research, a lot of professionalism brought out in this magazine, and believe me, you've got to go and check it out. You really, really do. Now, having said that, I've also got to thank you very, very humbly for showcasing us in your magazine as well. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to pass that on to the people we know around the world. Now, literally, my friend, world domination comes from door to door. It doesn't mean to say that you have to be on the same street or in the same block or even in the same country. It just means that you're knocking on doors everywhere, and we would be glad, absolutely happy to pass all of our information on to our people to be able to get Lazie Indie Magazine out there, literally. Now, I also, little birdie told me just moments ago that Jorg is online with us watching right now. Apparently you and another good friend of mine, of course, we're talking about John from Dr. John's Unsigned Surgeries, showcased in Jorg's videos just recently.
Yeah. And we were also there. I think that was yesterday or day before yesterday, and we were there, and it was a phenomenal event where we had artists from across the world logging in, and I was lucky to be there. Dr. John was there, and Pluto Radio was there. Was a whole lot of radios, whole lot of artists coming together. It was a radio kind of thing, and it was fun. Jorg is a tremendous, host. In fact, he writes a column in my magazine too. So he's a good friend of mine, contributing some great reviews in Lazie Indie magazine, and that's something which I think I've earned out of this magazine. I've earned great friends who are there to help me out with their content and their efforts.
Exactly. Now, Jay, I saw Jorg's corner, by the way, very insightful too. And welcome along, my friend. We spoke to Jorg just earlier on this morning, to be very honest with you. The first time that I've actually been, or had the pleasure to be able to talk to him live together, if you know what I mean. So we did a little video thing together earlier on. And it so happens he's asked me to be on his show the next time round. So looking forward to that. Really, really am, my friend. And absolute pleasure and honour to be on your show, and an honour to be in the Lazie J Indie magazine. Well, Lazie Indie magazine, which I don't think Jay's lazy at all. I really don't. I think he's one of the very hardest working men in the industry. Now, Jay, we kicked it off this morning with Don't Turn Around.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. How did you come to the lyrics of this?
Don't Turn Around was actually based on a story. It was a real-time story which has happened in my place. It's more or less like the concept of rolling like a Rolling Stone from Bob Dylan. So we had a similar story in my place where I was born. It's called Trivandrum in Kerala. It's a part of India, southernmost part of India. So we had this very rich woman, and then she finally ended up on the streets. And that I just wanted to tell that story, that and tell her not to turn around and try to come back. It's that was the story. It's not a very positive thing, but then obviously it was just stating her condition, that she doesn't have, there's nobody to come to take her back. So it's better she goes forward, and whatever she encounters, she has to overcome that, and that's the whole idea behind the song. And I've seen that lady, and that's you get triggered off with your lyrics. It comes out naturally when you have that thing in your mind. It was there in my mind for a long, long time, and somewhere I put it into a tune.
Now, Jay, you've been in bands and everything since way back in the day, 1991, I think you mentioned earlier on. So you're very, very familiar with not only working in the industry itself, but working in front of crowds and doing festivals, all that sort of thing. Right now being a surreal time of the world history, let's be honest, it isn't something that's just happening in your country and or mine, but it's happening in all the world. I presume right now, not a lot of concerts going on.
It's a pretty difficult situation. I have a lot of friends in the industry, in Indian industry, who are looking for other jobs. Let's be frank, they've been tremendous artists. They've traveled across the world with music, and now they're looking at getting into farming or something like that, which is impossible to imagine, a few years or maybe a year back, because even us, we had plans of tours, and the whole thing got jeopardized. Nothing, seems to work out for a long time. I think till June, July, we didn't have a clue what is going on. Like, will we ever be able to, come up with something again? And one way of overcoming that was, like, I always felt that the Yogs event was a kind of a curtain raiser to something which can be done later. But I also believe that in very short time you will have the live scene back, maybe with not the 50,000s or 100,000 crowd. You might get, you'll have limited crowds, and the kind of very organized shows will be conducted. Otherwise, this is an industry which has thousands of people depending on for survival. And I was lucky because I took a day job long time back, and I was parallelly managing it. So it's like I have something to bank on. But many of my friends who started with me, who got seriously into music and who continued in music for so many years, leaving everything else, are now in a very, very, very tough situation. And I feel really sorry for them. And I seriously hope, I think, there are news about the vaccines coming out. I pray that things happen as quickly as possible so that we can come to some kind of a normalcy there. In fact, one question I ask to everybody who in the industry, like you, radios or labels or even artists, is that what do you think you can do to overcome this situation? And I've in fact collected a lot of information from people like you with a lot of experience, telling us, okay, this is what can happen. If you remember, I have posted this question to you also.
Yes,
to
I
get
do.
an answer, because I am also searching for an answer that how soon can we, come out of this? Because I've got very senior artists, like not just India, very popular bands, everybody knows across the world. I had people of that stage are telling me that my career is finished, and it hurts.
I get that, Jay. I really, really do. But believe me, there will always be artists. There will always be music. There will always be people who want to listen to it. What we have to do right now is adapt to what we have available to us. I do not feel that it's going to be a 5-year project where we will get back to stadium work again. You know what I mean? I do feel it will happen within a number of months, but that may add up to about 2, maybe 3 years maximum. What we have to do is we have to sustain ourselves until that point. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And then a lot of people ask me, is it going to be different? Well, I don't think it will be that much different when we restore ourselves back again, because we've got the old reliable that we know, love and cherish. It's called experience, right? And we draw from that experience and move into a new era, a new norm, if you want to put it like that. And, well, you know, believe me, here at the moment we're looking at doing something completely different in the near future too, where we're putting in monitors all the way around in the office in here, which is going to be damn hot, I gotta be honest with you, especially in the summertime. We're going to be bringing in our audio audience. Now it's going to be a video audience as well. They can interact while we're doing these interviews. They can go through our production team, pose questions. You can actually answer to the person themselves, vice versa, stuff like that, which now makes it more interactive for our audience. But you see, for me, I'm an engineer, and I've travelled the world with some of the biggest bands in the world as a front of house engineer, not only a studio engineer, and believe me, I've done some of the best studios in the world, but some of the best bands live and stage. And I love doing stadium work, you know what I mean? We're talking 50, 60, 100, 120,000 people. You can't beat that, and you can't get that from monitors, you know what I mean? I love the feeling of we're going to a show, you know what I mean? And it's going to be absolutely stunning. You got so many people, it's electric. I'm sorry, you can't do that with monitors. You just can't get that. But we do our best, and if we can make it interactive for our audience, you know, and be more up with the play, and be able to emulate the artists that we interview that much more, that means so much to me. It really, really does, because that many people now have that chance to be able to be a part of the interviews. You know what I'm saying?
Totally agree. I totally agree, and I think that's the way till we find our feedback onto the stadiums. I think there should be some kind of innovation and bringing people together, kind of, and make people talk to each other. You know, that's the key. And I think what you're talking about right now is something which needs to happen to make things easier. Because 100%, if it has to catch up, if it's a 2-year wait or a 3-year wait, there should be some method in which we bring back the audience. Because great music you can always listen with your your iPad or iPods and all those things, but then there's nothing to replace as like a feeling of going to a show and being there. I think that's something which any artist would love to be there. I feel like the best moments in my life is when I stand and I just forget everything and I start singing in front of the crowd, and that makes a lot. It means a lot to us. So I think some way we have to wait till things get better, and till that time, I think what you are telling is phenomenal. It has to be done. I think slowly people are getting into this idea. The first 5-6 months were like shock. Nobody knew what to do. Now we're all thinking how to make things better.
Exactly. Now, I got to be honest with you, Jay. I have 2 moments at a concert. The first moment is, and believe me, this really happens. I make sure it happens actually, is the stadium is completely empty. After construction, everything is wired, ready to go. Of course, you got a few lights going off and on every now and again. And I'm standing in the middle of the stadium with anticipation. Tonight is going to be that night. You know what I mean? The next time that I get that feeling is when those drums hit, when that music comes up straight away and the crowd just loses it. Yes. That's my moment. You know what I mean? As an engineer, that really gets the skin going.
Correct. Nothing can replace that.
Exactly. And believe me, I've heard people saying, hey, listen, we want to put stadiums where we got monitors, and well, we're going to do something like that as well. But it just doesn't feel right being in your own home, watching it on a screen. You've got to be there. You know what I mean? There is nothing like it. You've got to be there. And believe me, I can't wait until we lift the veil, the shroud that is going on right now, so that we can bring bands much like Jay and the Lazie J Band here in New Zealand. Would you consider coming to New Zealand to play in front of New Zealand audiences?
Oh yeah, we'd love to. Let the moment it's open, moment I get an invitation from you, the next flight is booked, so you can be ready.
Absolutely stunning, my friend, because believe me, Barbara is very, very interested in doing a show with you. She really, really is. She was telling me this morning how much of a success that she thinks this could be as a sellout show up and down the country, maybe about 4 shows here in New Zealand. Let's make it worthwhile. Let's do about 8 in Australia.
We have a big
Well,
Indian
only because we
population.
like their money, right?
Yeah, obvious.
Yeah, exactly. But, let's make it worthwhile and get you here in New Zealand, because we think you would make a huge impact if it's anything like the impact you've made with our audio audience. And believe me, we have tested the water with your music. We've played it. We haven't said anything to anybody. And we've got a huge response back there. Then we started to introduce your music, and, well, people went nuts. They wanted to know more about you, so forth, that I have been literally chomping at the bit, not so much for the magazine, which I really appreciate, and believe me, I'm very humbled there, but for your music, because that's my grassroots. That's where I'm brought up. That's what I love the most, and I love good music. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you know something? There's sunshine right there. Jay, tell me about Sunshine.
Sunshine was a song I wrote maybe 10, 12 years back. And then, in fact, I went into the cold storage because we had too many other things happening. We did a lot of other songs. But then we had a show. We also had a collaborative called Lazy Bison. This was a collaborative between us and an artist from Canada and another artist from Sweden. We toured India. So we were doing the second round of a TV show. Like, we had a first round of TV show a year back, and the second round we were looking for songs like what we have not done earlier. And then I had given a set list of my choices. And my guitarist, as I said, the person, his name is John Anthony, and he was not happy with one of the songs, and he was doing all sorts of, displeasure, or showing us a kind of being not happy about the songs. And then I had to literally find out something, and because day after tomorrow, if you ask me, the day after that particular day was supposed to be the recording. So I had to literally pull out something out of my old collection and put it in front of him. So I somehow took this and gave it to him, and then I played this song with an acoustic guitar, and he jumped up and he said, "This is what I wanted, and this song is good." And he, being such a known, famous artist in India, I think we went by his instinct, because this song was there. I like this song. Personally, I like this song, but then none of my friends were that keen on the song, so I kept it back. And then I pulled it out and showed it to him, and he was jumping around and telling, "This is what I want." And we literally completed the song in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The whole lyrics was already there, but the whole song got completed, recorded maybe in 2 hours or 3 hours. So that, when we came out, unfortunately, when we went for the studio recording of the song, by that time John Anthony had died. So we lost him because he had a heart attack, and he was pretty, elder to us. So we did not do much about, we just made somebody else play the lead solo exactly the way he played. And this was brought out as a tribute to John Anthony, because without him insisting on this song, we would have never taken this song out. So it is a tribute to the legendary guitarist in India. There's a lot of people who follow him. He had worked with bands before us, but then this was the last song he worked. So I would dedicate this song wherever we go. We speak about this song. I keep this as a dedication to him because Sunshine is all about John Anthony's brilliance. Like the way he was like a kid. He was so happy about playing this song, and maybe that's something which I will always recollect whenever somebody asks about Sunshine. It would never have come out unless John Anthony would have insisted on getting a new song, and and I put it in front of him.
You know, I'm
So,
speechless. I really, really am. Condolences. I had no idea, but right here, believe me, this one is picking up momentum right here at Galaxy. It really, really is. We're getting quite a few requests. We're almost up around the 1,900 requests since we've started playing it. Here is Sunshine. I had no idea, my bro. I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, he's there on the cover of our previous edition. He
Okay.
was a tremendous. He was a bit younger to us.
Yep.
He's in his mid 60s, but then he was somebody who identified or who played with A.R. Rahman kind of people. He was there in the music Bollywood industry for a long time. And
Okay.
then he left everything he wanted to do. He was an old-time rock and roller, so he came back and he wanted to do something. And that's accidentally the time when we bumped onto him, and then he was freaking out with us. He was going around playing, stages with us, enjoying the whole time. And then we had plans to actually travel to Scandinavian countries and then go to Canada. And that was a tour set. Unfortunately, that was the time when he died, and we had to literally undo everything to, start playing those songs again because he had even our old songs. We, kind of modified into his mold. So then we had to redo the whole thing, and then almost 6 months we were without a clue what to do because no one would take up the guitar job because it was John Anthony's work and nobody wanted to disturb that. So we had a tough time trying to do all those things. And finally, we had a friend of mine who was there with me for 25 years. I know him. I requested him to do something, and that's how this song came out. And then we started picking up ourselves. But then, yeah, that's what happens to when you have great personalities with you. They occupy a large space of your music, and when they go out, that whole space has to be filled up.
Exactly.
And
Believe me,
yeah,
bro, I get that. I really, really do. At the same time, I'm fascinated with the combination of the Scandinavian and the Canadian mix that you did. We did something similar to that. A band out of Norway and a band out of Canada, and they come up with a Christmas song that we. But that actually transpired from a challenge that I gave both of these guys because I introduced them together. You know what I mean? And I was
yeah.
fascinated with the result. Coming up is your last song, Twilight, but I want to talk a couple of things before that. So we'll have a little talk about not only you coming to New Zealand, like we would really, really like to have, but we're a bit crazy here. We do a couple of crazy things. Are you up for a challenge?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
George and Gear, you know what he's going to say. You know what he's going to say.
Galaxy.
Jay, I got to let you know that you'll get a copy of everything we do here today, and I apologise now if, there'll be some crazy photos after we do this, and also we'll do a very, very quick video that we'll put on our website, because with the amount of traffic that goes through our website, they don't just go to and stream us, you know what I mean? They get nosy and go and have a look. Sometimes, Jay, I've got to be honest with you, I feel very oogled, if you know what I mean. The amount of people that go around having a look at your pages and stuff like that. So glad my underwear drawer isn't there.
Okay.
Yeah, literally. Believe me, you don't want to know about that one. But having said that, my friend, we did touch very, very briefly on you coming to New Zealand and playing a couple of shows here in New Zealand, which we think would be a complete sellout here in New Zealand. Really, really would be. But we do have a couple of traditions that we partake in with our artists that come in from overseas. Now, I'm pretty sure you've watched a couple of these interviews before. I know Jorg has in the past. He actually, when I was talking to him, I mentioned a couple of things. He goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard you mention that before." You know what I mean? But we do these things, not for humour. A lot of it's for humour. In fact, a lot of it is just to please me because I absolutely love getting people into trouble. I do. But at the same time, we do have some traditional stuff we do as well. Have you ever heard of a hoo-hoo grub?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Well, if you do a little bit of research, you'll understand that the native of New Zealand is the Maori, and one of the delicacies is the hoo-hoo grub. Now, I've got to be honest with you. Are you familiar with white worm at the bottom of the bottle of tequila?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of, well, the concept of it anyway, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, this I recommend a bit of, alcohol maybe before, surely afterwards, really, to be honest. And, well, I've seen people actually try during as well, to be. But what you do is you take, now, you're familiar with a caterpillar, right?
Yeah.
This is, well, it's not like a caterpillar, really. It's like a double-decker bus to a mini. It's big, it's white, it's alive. It's got a black head. Now, what you do is you rip off the black head. Don't eat the black head because it tastes yucky. But when you crunch down on this, because you put the live body in your mouth, it tastes like creamy peanut butter.
Oops.
And
I don't know.
now you know why I said plenty of alcohol before.
Maybe I might give a try. I'm not sure about it.
I tell you what, Jay, I'll get Barbara to send you the instructional videos just to show you that I'm not pulling your leg. We actually do these things here in New Zealand, which is fantastic. You know what I mean? Now, you got to wonder about the guy that's handing you a bowl of these live, wiggly, wormy things expecting you to eat one, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you got to wonder about that. Go, yeah. What sort of dodgy guy is this? Yeah, don't worry about that, Jay. It'll be me handing you the bowl. You know, the mentality there, none at all. But we have a thing.
Yeah, but is it live or it is like it's cooked?
Yeah, no. Well,
how do you get?
We can cook them for you. Literally, we can. We can even barbecue them for you if you want. But the traditional way is live, out of the bowl, in the mouth. Wait, take off the head. Away you go, crunch, crunch.
Oh my God!
Absolutely, Stan.
Jack.
You know, I've tried so many of these. It's not funny, to be very honest.
Do they? For information's sake, do they actually do that there?
Yeah, they do. And yeah. So, as I said, we're a bit crazy. So think about when you want to come here. Believe me, we like to have some fun with people. But you see, New Zealand's made up of 3 islands. And right down the very bottom, there's an island called Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, it got a name. It got a name. It's a manly name too. It's Stewart. Right? Then whoever named this country ran out of imagination. They just lost it and called the next one South.
Okay.
Why, I don't know. And then they followed on with that tradition and went north for the next one. So we're in the North Island, but down the west coast of the South Island there's a little place down there called Hokitika that has wild foods festivals, and believe me, I've been there a number of times over the years. And one of the delicacies on the list is the hoo-hoo grub, and well, we make sure that everybody that comes into the country at least participates with one grub. You know what I mean?
Got it.
One's
So I need to be careful.
yeah, well,
I need to be
one's
prepared.
not going to kill you. You know?
Yeah, that can be something which I'll remember all my life.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, I'm yet to find somebody to overdose on the bloody things.
But does it have a kind of allergy or something like that, or people eat and survive with that?
Yeah, no, believe me.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, believe me. back in the day, you could have found them on any dining table, if you know what I mean, in that tradition, in the buddies and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, believe me. We're talking way prior to Captain Cook, and the tradition has just come on from there, you know. But you got to think about who was the first person that broke open a mussel and ate it?
Or an oyster.
What were they thinking?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah, it's like if let's just slide this big chunk of snot down your throat. You got to, oh yum. But then it turned out to be really nice, like bluff oysters, for instance. And we'll take you down to the bluff. Try some bluff oysters if you're into oysters. Believe me, you'll be dangerous. We'll have to keep an eye on you after that, because believe me, you'll be wanting to go down the pub and pick up the local ladies. You know what I mean? You will. Bluff oysters, good for that, literally. But at the same time, have you ever heard of a place in the South Island called Queenstown?
Yeah, I think, I followed the New Zealand cricket team, because in India they're quite popular. Most of the people come and play IPL here, and we are fans of some of the New Zealand players. And then I was a big fan of Richard Hadley. I don't know, he should be, he was Sir Richard Hadley. So I used to follow him. So, we have seen Queensland. Queensland is in Australia, right?
Yep. Queensland is in Australia. That's where all the Australian men walk around in dresses and high heels.
Okay.
Queenstown is actually in the down the bottom end of the South Island. Now down there, literally, I'm not sure whether you know the names, but Shania Twain owns property down there. It's a kind of a boutique-y kind of town. To be a city that all the A-listers go and, just go and disappear down there. I mean, Keanu Reeves was down there not so long ago. Also, what was his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was down there not so long ago. Kevin Costner has been down there. You never know, Jay, who you might run into. But you don't want to run into me.
It's a good place to be there, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to run into me down there.
Wait.
I'll throw you off a bridge.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah, we have a thing down there called bungee jumping.
Yeah, I've seen people do that, and that's a crazy thing to do. I think.
Yeah, believe me.
I'm even scared to go on a roller coaster. So bungee jumping is way off my.
I'll do a tandem with you. What do you reckon? I'll go with you. Now you're not Australian, so we'll attach the bungee.
Oh no, whoever is there with me, that is something which I'll never do.
Believe me.
I'm
You'll love it.
totally scared of doing that.
Well, I tell you what, Jay, a good friend of mine, AJ Hackett, who introduced the sport here to New Zealand, well, we are good friends, actually. We really, really are. In fact, I've done a number of his bungees, even off the Auckland Harbour Bridge. That was fantastic. You believe me, it is a great thing to do. And at the same time, for those who've never done it before, always fun to watch.
It's always fun to watch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it is. It really is.
It's horrific. Like, you get really get scared when you are going to do it. Like, if I am going to do it, I'll not be at that place after that.
Well, I take it then you wouldn't want to go skydiving with me.
Oh no, forget sky. Bungee jumping is too much for me. So we are talking about skydiving.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but believe me, I've been doing that for almost 40 years. I really have, and absolutely love the sport. In fact, somebody the other day was saying to me, "Grant, you've done it so many times, you should retire." I went, "Why?" They went, "Well, sooner or later, your luck's up, eh?" And I went, "Oh, very cool. That's like, typical Kiwis."
Yeah, I really admire people who do that because that's something that maybe you know I should be doing it, but I'm scared of heights.
Me
So
too.
um,
Don't worry, you're right there with Barbara. Barbara's the same. I mean, she gets vertigo if she gets on a 4-inch heels.
I've climbed, mind you, I climbed a small hill and came back after climbing half of it because I couldn't go further. So you can imagine me standing on that the tip of the place and trying to jump as a bungee jumper or something. It's impossible. I can't even imagine that.
Okay, so no travelling by private helicopter.
No, I'd rather prefer,
I do have a rotor license too, by the way. I am a pilot. I can fly, not only fixed wing, but rotor as well. So believe me, I do love to be able to fly, if you know what I mean. Can't keep me on the ground sometimes, I've got to be honest, as you may be gathering right now. But having said that, we do like to have a little fun doing that. Now, Jay, are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
About,
Yeah, I've seen the movies.
Okay, well, about an hour and a half from where we are right here in this office is the original set of Hobbiton. And
Okay.
we would love to be able to show you around there. Believe me, you'd be able to go to the Hobbit holes, the party trees, the wishing wells, the whole deal. Absolutely fantastic. And, well, sometimes I get surprised because a good friend of mine that I went to university back in the day, his name was Peter Jackson, and I can't call him Sir Peter Jackson anymore. Literally, yeah, it just doesn't work for me. He's Pete, you know what I mean? We kind of went to school together back in the day, so from time to time he likes to turn up and surprise me. So you never know, he may turn up and be a part of it sometimes. But unfortunately, you see, I'm not allowed back in there anymore.
Okay, that's okay. Lord of the Rings was I know the original story is based on a story from New Zealand. That much I have I know about it.
Okay.
Then I watched the movies and I love the movies, like especially the Hobbits and
Yeah, and then you get the orcs, right? Yeah, they still live in orc land today.
yeah, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. Here's the orcs for you, sorted. We've got a little bit of, he's got an idea, literally. But yeah, believe me, we'll be able to show you around there, and I'm sure you'll find it absolutely fantastic. We'll show you a number of other things that we can do, and well, maybe not do, depending on choice, you never know. But we would absolutely love you to come down. We'd be honoured to show you a lot of our country, up and down the country, if you know what I mean, and have a couple of shows while we do it. What do you reckon?
And get it?
Yeah, we'll do some work. While we're having some fun, we'll do some work as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We can do it. Yeah, I would like to. I would certainly be there.
Now,
I would love to come.
Jay, I'm kind of envious. I really am, because right now we're in 64 countries around the world. I've been told 97 cities are tuned in right now. But I haven't been to 100 countries yet, and I'm kind of envious about this. So, for example, the US, UK, Australia, Spain, Canada, Finland, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that really excites me. It really does. But having said that, we have a huge listenership logged in right now, and I'll give you an idea of that once we finish this. I really will. No use telling you now because we're still doing it. So, having said that, and unbeknownst to me, with John Anthony's passing, and I only just found this out, I really did, and it's really a shame to have such an influence in this band's history that this has happened. Or could it be the Twilight Zone? No. Jay, tell me about Twilight Zone.
Okay, Twilight Zone. We had a break in between. Me, and the whole band is formed around myself and Manoj. So we were the friends from school, and we built people at the band around us. So we had a break from 1997 because we didn't know what to do after being there for 5-6 years and doing a lot of shows. After that, there was nothing to do, and then we had to literally go off and search for jobs and get a career in some other way, because that was the norm here. So we went, and then Manoj went to the Middle East, and I was in Bangalore. I came to Bangalore, and I'm from down south from Bangalore, the place called Trivandrum. So we both come from the same place. Manoj went to Dubai, and then he was there. And then one fine morning he landed up in my place, telling that, okay, let's have some fun. And then I just took the guitar and we started playing, jamming, and we just got a tune out of that. And it was just a fun song we started out with, and then I had to fill up the lyrics, and we thought of giving it to the first FM radio which was launched in India. So our idea was to go and give this song to the FM radio, and these guys were not promoting independent music at that time. So I went and we did a small recording, and we went and gave it to the producer there, and he told upfront that we are not going to promote independent music. So I left my CD there. I said, okay, this is for you as a personal copy. If you want to listen, you listen, and then tell us a feedback of. But then he liked it, and then he aired that song. And probably that will be the first independent music to be played on FM radio in India. I'm not sure about it because it was the first FM radio in India. So technically, yeah, it can be. And then years passed, and then we wanted to do collaborations. So we have 3 versions of this. The first version was me and Manoj trying to figure out something with the song. The next was with an artist, a guitarist from US, a keyboardist, and a bassist from the United States, and we did a collaboration, and that has a lot of keyboards and panoramic sounds and all those things. I think that version is there. And then the third one was we in the last the last show which we did with John Anthony, we just cut the frills out, took the guitar version of it, and then we just played that song. So I think all 3 songs were awesome. To me, all 3 were experiments, because I would love to hear my songs in different modes, and this is typical John Anthony, guitaring behind the song. If the other one is more of a cinema kind of thing, you get a lot of keyboard sounds and phasers and all those things working out there. And the first one, I don't think would have been out there to anyone to hear, but then it was for us to compose.
Well, Jay, I'm not sure which version we have, but we have this version. Here's Lazie J and Twilight Zone on Galaxy. Gosh, it's hot up here, Barbara.
It's hot.
It really is, isn't it? Gosh. Over there...
Yeah, that's John Anthony version. That's the last version.
Right.
Awesome.
Oh, over there right now, are you going into winter?
Everyone again.
Yeah?
Are you going into winter right now over there?
Here, yeah, November, December can be the winter. Till February it's cold, considerably cold, because we are a hot country.
Mm-hmm.
From 30s, it will come down to 18, 19 kind of thing.
Right,
That's
right.
cold.
Not cold according to you.
No, 18, 19 is, well, we love that heat. Anything over 20, it gets a bit ridiculous, you know what I mean? And last summer, we were up around the 40s. So,
Oh my God.
that's just crazy. It really is. Because sometimes you could go out, take an egg and cook it on the ground. You know what I mean? It was that bloody hot. It really was.
Yeah, we are used to that heat in India. There's 42.
Yeah, but that's you guys. That's not us. But having said that, I mean, we're talking to a lot of Canadians right now that are, 30 degrees below, and that's well, we don't know what snow is where we are right here in New Zealand. I mean, down some parts of New Zealand, yeah, they get snow. Nothing like that, though. I've got to be honest.
Minus 40. In fact, I made friends with a person, a Canadian in a flight, and I was talking about Bangalore being cold. And then finally I asked him, like, where do you come from? He said, yeah, I'm from Canada. And then I asked him, what is the temperature you have there? He was talking to me about minus 48 and minus 50. So I was like, I don't know, I would have died the moment I, landed there, because it's crazy. Like, minus 48, how do people survive?
Yeah, exactly. Here's something really nuts for you, bro. One day I get a phone call. Well, actually, it wasn't a phone call. It was an email kind of deal to start with. And then I got a Skype message from a police officer, a sergeant from Ontario. And she was part of the OPP, or the Ontario Provincial Police. And she asked me, would we be interested in broadcasting when there's danger zones on their motorways, because there was a truck driver that had had an incident, turned his truck over, but Galaxy was playing on a stereo at the time. So,
oh my God.
For the last couple of years, we've actually done road messages to truckies and everything, people using the road over there.
Okay.
Just last year, the Canadian Mounted Police got on board as well, and we're also doing things for the Coquihalla and places like that now, where we try and keep people safe. But that's weird, don't you think? All right, let's go back to the desk. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. It is 14 after 11 o'clock. We better hustle, actually, because we got another interview very, very shortly. 20 degrees downtown. Now, this man has reached number 3 in global rock charts and been number 1 act in India, with 2 songs reaching top 5. These guys are hustlers. They're on their way. They're going to make it. They're going to get around the world. And believe me, being part of Galaxy, I am very, very elated and very happy to say, Jay, welcome to the Galaxy family.
Thank you. I'm honored to be a part of the family, and I would love to be there.
Now, yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you. Now, if you're bringing out any new music in the near future, will you come back again? Will you release it with us?
Perfectly. I would love to.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, Jay, I got to thank you very, very much. We're going to have to move on, but don't go anywhere just yet. We've got a couple of things that we're going to do before we wrap this up. But Jay, lead singer from the band, of course, Lazie J, coming out of Bangalore in India. It has been an absolute pleasure. You're right here at Galaxy. Stay there, Jay.
Galaxy 107 FM.